and you're helping students every day because right now they need it.
Yes, it's been a long time, Dave. We've been talking about this for a while, trying to link up, and I'm happy I have the time to do this right now. Like you said, with the rough schedule I have of working with the kids during the day, then I have my own PhD studies I'm working on, my doctorate, and it's just a full schedule, and along with the foundation.
Yes.
So it's a full schedule, but I manage it. That's the fun part about it. It's a good thing about it. I manage it well.
Well, what's interesting about it is that we meet, but we kind of don't know. I met you, through the bodybuilding, right? That's how we ended
Yes.
up getting to know each
Yes,
other.
at one of the NPC shows you were emceeing, and I
You
was
won the
one of the
overall.
competitors. Yes,
You won the
yes,
Ruby Championships. You won the
yes.
overall.
Overall, yeah, I swept that one. All
And
that.
and I was reading the bio, and while I'm reading the bio, it says Super Bowl champion. It says all this stuff. I'm like, what's he doing here? And but that's the interesting part. See, we always talk about athletes not having a second act or another chapter in their book. So what Butch said is like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to find another outlet that I can use not only my physique, my strength, but also my voice, because he needs a voice and multiple platforms to inspire these young kids in high school, because his goal is to make sure they get to college somehow. Is that right? Am I pretty correct?
No, you're absolutely right. I always look to challenge myself. That's just me. I've been that way since I started sports. I'm always looking every year to get better. I want to be better than the next guy. I want to be better than the guy who's at my position. I want to come back stronger. I want to come back faster. I've always achieved those things, and the same thing with once I got done with football, I began my mortgage industry. I got into real estate, and then all of a sudden, I see this men's physique comes up. So I said, you know what? Let me try it just for fun to see how it works, bro. It was like it's like an epidemic, a habit where I tried it once and I couldn't stop. It's like eating a good meal; you can't stop eating. So once I started winning, I just started challenging myself more to go to the next step. I'm going against guys half my age, and
You
I was
were.
winning,
You
and
were.
I'm winning. So that's an accomplishment there, and it's an accomplishment to show people my age and show the kids that's half my age that it doesn't matter what you do and where you're at. You can always achieve greatness.
Well, and that was the main thing when you told me, because there's a huge difference between playing football and getting on stage where people are judging you not for your skills. They're judging you for what they think the look is, right? So we used to have these discussions, you and me, and the fact that you beat everybody and then got to be a pro at your, like, really quick at your age, it was really interesting because the only people that were getting pro cards were really about half your age anyway.
Absolutely.
But we had this discussion, and the thing is, in the football field, you are judged by your skills and how good you are. Now, let's talk about that, because you might have not caught, like, 5,000 passes or anything, but the one thing about you that I looked up to was the fact that you were always in the right place at the right time. Because think about in the NFL, you see people that have never caught one touchdown. The fact that they can the first touchdown, they get that ball, they grab onto it, they put it in the suitcase, and they're like, this is my first touchdown ever. And maybe that's your last. The fact that he did in one team alone, he caught 11, right? No, 10 in one team.
Well, no, listen. That's the debate always go with everybody. Always have with everybody. It's 14 consecutive years.
14 consecutive, but in two teams.
Yes, yes. Well, what it is, I've always tell everybody, a player always remember his stats and how many catches he has. And like I said, you were making a comment about my skills. I can catch the ball all day long, but for some reason, I developed this notion that I'm just an end zone guy. Even in college, I've always caught game winners. But my thing is, I was always big and strong. Grew up, a big kid, so my strength was blocking, and coaches seen that, so they utilized me in the blocking areas so much more. And we had a pretty good running back at Michigan State and Lorenzo White, so that tend to cause me not to catch a lot of passes. So I had to say, let me develop my blocking skills, because this can get me to the next level.
Yeah.
A blocking tight end is just effective as a catching tight end. So I had to develop that and stay strong, stay in the weight room, and on top of that, they gave me these little goal line sections. That became my area of expertise.
And you perfected it. I mean,
Absolutely.
to say that you're going to catch 14 straight passes and they're all for touchdowns, and he holds the record, by the way. But here's the thing. How do you win games? You have to score points. And who's scoring points? Butch Rolle scoring points. So, if anything, man, you got to, if anything is, you got to think about that. It's about the points, but it's also about the wins. Because nobody remembers who lost the Super Bowl, but they remember who won. I remember being at a it's funny. I just remember being at a Super Bowl with you. We were at a big party for his foundation, and who was winning? I think Atlanta. What was it?
Atlanta was winning by a large margin.
And I showed up. I showed up in the second half, right? I drove from Orlando, Florida. Remember? To your event because you had invited me to a Super Bowl event. It was a charity event for his foundation, we're going to talk about his foundation. And at the end of the day, I show up in the second half. I'm listening to the game the whole time, and something tells me they're going to come back. And then I sit down and I look at him and his whole family. All these people are there, and I'm saying, I don't think Atlanta's going to win this game. And God and behold, I was right.
You were. Listen, that was one of the great comebacks
Ever.
You know, you have Tom Brady. You can't never count him out. You can't give him too many chances. That guy's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best. And Atlanta they didn't show up in the second half. They were winning by margin. They just didn't show up in the second half. And behold, that's what happens at the end. They end up losing the game, and one of the more embarrassing losses because they were so far ahead. They should have won that game.
And let's talk about that because you were with a team that was known for losing championships with Jim Kelly.
Don't remind me.
And then, but hold on, because remember, my Cowboys were winning. So, we weren't friends then. It's okay. We weren't friends then. But, so your Bills, you win 2 championships. I remember in high school and, you know, when I play sports, but it's just nothing like a pro level. What is the mind of an athlete like yourself that's catching touchdowns? You're in the Super Bowl, you win 2 of them, you get to be with your peers and celebrate this. What are the, I know it's not really words that can bring it out, but what are the emotions that you feel after so many years of fighting? And you guys lost a lot of close, good championship games, and then you finally won. And so what were the emotions that you felt, because you're part of the scoring, you're part of the blocking, all that stuff, but you're part of the scoring of all these teams. What was your emotions go through when you win a Super Bowl like that?
Well, correct it. We were 4-time AFC champions, and that's accomplishment there. No team has ever done that, and honestly, I don't think it's going to happen again, especially with the free agency market where players are always moving around. So that's not going to happen again, David. And we had a dynasty, man. We had quarterbacks. We had every position. We had depth.
Yep.
From the quarterback position, the running back, the tight ends, the receivers, everybody can play. Everybody had an opportunity to contribute. And being on those teams showed that, we had this continuity. And a lot of the guys are still close to this day. And, that's something that we will always cherish and always have with us because it won't ever happen again. We had a great coach in Mark Levy. And, this is how, a championship team was developed. We didn't start off great. We had some bumps. They gave us a nickname at the beginning of our run, the Bickering Bills. Everybody was, we were always, guys were fighting each other. Guys wanted the ball more. Guys wanted more runs, more plays. It wasn't no continuity until we realized, hey, listen, we have a squad. We have good players. Let's get together. Let's do this thing. Let's win. Let's keep winning, and that's all that matters. You keep winning, everybody's happy. The city's happy. The organization's happy, and your team stays together. Unless you have an opportunity to go to another team and make more money, which guys do. I did that. After those Super Bowl runs, I wound up going to Phoenix and
to catch more touchdowns.
You don't know how long you're going to play in this game, so you want to maximize that opportunity, and it's about making money. That's what it is. You're putting your body at risk, and it's a very physical game, and you just want to make as much money as possible. So
let me, this is a question a lot of people say, how come these players get paid millions of dollars, right? And when I was in college, I did a study, but here's the thing. You guys are you guys are working your whole life since little what was the little leagues, the little, yeah, from little league football, or they have a name for it, I know, and you go up to junior high, middle school, junior high, high school. You're working. People forget the work that you're doing. It's just you're not getting paid for it, but you're working. And if you're lucky enough, you go to college and you're working. And then so it's really literally tens of years, and then those years become what? An asset to a city to sell your name, to sell tickets, sell jerseys, sell everything. And at the end of the day, when you look at the money you make, that's what people, and I wish more people, the business people would look at it that way. Normal people don't, but I think you're putting in your whole life. It's like the Olympics. You're not just working out a year to win the Olympics. You're working out your whole life. You're sacrificing, suffering, giving up a lot of stuff for this amount of money, and then you got to make it somehow last through injuries and egos and all these other things. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I just want to piggyback on what you're saying. I always have that conversation with people about, athletes making a lot of money. Do they deserve it? Like you said, this isn't just start like a month ago or a year ago. This started way down the line. When we were little kids, little adolescents, young teenagers, young kids starting off with their Little League football. Then, like you said, high school, you got junior varsity, then you go to varsity, then that's when you start developing. So this starts way back.
Correct.
So the money that you're fortunate enough to make at the pro level, not everybody get that chance because every athlete don't make it to that level. It's less than 2%
Percentage
to the NFL.
Yeah.
That's a small percentage.
A very small percentage.
So if you can make it to something special, it's something that you've done. Every player want to do it, but just not fortunate. And I thank God I was blessed to be one of those players to go and say, this is my legacy. I played in the NFL. As a little kid, how many guys want to play? How many boys want to play in the NFL? You have trading cards that you're walking around with in your pocket. I remember me and my cousin we used to trade cards, and we used to get into fights about the Dolphin players back in the days when we were young. And here I am. I have my own trading cards, and I have the opportunity to be at this level of playing this organization. That's an honor.
No, and I used to tell you that all the time. You used to get frustrated when you were competing in the physique, in the pro division, and I said, Butch, you're a Super Bowl champ, buddy. There's the amount of people, and you got to remember there's 2%, but you got to remember there's positions too. So you have very little positions. You only have a certain amount of quarterbacks. You got 1 or 2 per team that are qualified to play. Tight ends, same thing. You might have 2 tight ends, maybe 3 tight ends in a team. So there's a lot of positions that don't have a lot of extras. Not like linebackers or offensive tackles or defensive tackles, but you got to have a lot because somebody can get hurt and you got to bring him back in. So that and that brings me up to right now today where we are. Right now, we don't even know what's going to happen if there's going to be a season. And I know you've thought about this, if you were playing today, what would you do?
Well, Dave, it's unfortunate this epidemic has shut the world down and put everything in a disarray. And the guys nowadays their contracts are so lucrative. Where they want to still play football. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure they're okay as far as financially, but that's their livelihood, and I know they want to get back to the game. But it's hard to really put into perspective because of the quarantine, and you don't know what's going to happen from day to day or month to month. I know they're trying to come up. They don't even have enough testing out there, so they're still going along with the season. They're still progressing as though the season's going to start in September or whenever it starts, but
Correct.
We don't know. Right now, we don't know. We just have to prepare, and the players, I think we spoke about this earlier, the players have to prepare to make sure that they're ready. So when it does start,
that's the thing. The thing is, like, you can't just say, hey, we're going to go play football, and you're ready for football. Listen, I think I shared this video with you that I played basketball a week ago. And I haven't touched a basketball in 3 years. Now, I had a good hour and I shot and I got better after the first 30 minutes. The second day I came back and I did better. Then I couldn't move for a week. So I can only imagine like the type of pain that you guys go through, because it's not, you're not just running and jumping and push-ups and this and that and then running routes. You're getting hit at the same time. So you're putting your body through this conditioning process, and then you get hit, and then here's a boom, and then what happens next? So for me, is I don't imagine it. I can't imagine it. I can only say that you have to be in tip-top shape. You know, here's a compliment that I give to you, and I talked about this. A lot of people ask me about The Last Dance, the basketball, Michael Jordan run, and I was there watching every game as a kid. And I think about it. There's no way I can compare 20 years ago to today's basketball or NFL, because the NFL is more offensive friendly now. Back then, they would take your helmet off, and it wasn't even a penalty. So, I mean, I remember Warren Moon, and I remember these quarterbacks that get their head cut off, and they had to get back up and run. I mean, your own quarterback, Kelly, I mean, he got beat up by the Cowboys, and he had to get right back up with I don't know if he tweaked his knee in one of the games, but I just remember these things. Nowadays, it's like, here's a flag, here's a flag. So I have to commend you and compliment you, because you played at a level that was not just a high level, but a very, I think, extra competitive level.
Yes.
I think the rules have gotten friendly because, of course, you want to keep people a little longer, longevity of the sport. And two, offense is always more fun than defense, right?
Yes, it's about scoring, and you're right. I laugh about this all the time. Me and a lot of the older guys, we talk about how the league has gone pretty soft now, and I know they're protecting the players, but you didn't do this back when we played. So I look at it. I was a warrior.
Well, the money wasn't the same.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Now you got to protect. Now you got to protect their investment.
Softer, and they have more money out there. So we played when it was no rules. Guys, like you said, guys were getting hit. The big hits made the highlights. I remember going out there as a tight end. I want to just run everybody. That's, I was big. I was strong as an ox. 260, I catch a pass, I'm trying to just step on your neck, trying to do whatever to hurt you. That's just the mentality we have. And nowadays, like you said, you hit the quarterback the wrong way, you're going to get a flag. The game is more offensive.
And or get fined.
Yeah, or get fined.
Yeah.
And they praised those type of hits back when we played. They praised it.
We did.
Highlight shows where, you got smashed or whatever, you got served or whatever the contact was. And it's just, they had highlight reels, and guys, teams were paid players for big hits.
Yeah.
In other words, for big hits, and that's just the nature of it. But I know they want to protect the game, and like I said, I'm going to think that it's soft, because I played in an era where there was no rules. So right now, I'm definitely thinking that it's soft. But in the same token, I'm glad they're protecting the guys. They get to play longer, bigger contracts. That's
and here's the thing: is not everybody's getting a big contract. Some people are getting league minimum, and those are the most people. Only the highlight people are getting the big bucks. But I want to say, first of all, congratulations on your career, and of course, what a blessing that you are, safe, and that you are not injured to the point that you couldn't do. So there's a lot of blessings that, in terms of your career, you came out of it pretty good. Very, very good. Amen, brother.
You know what? God, I come from a religious family. My dad's a bishop. Mom was an evangelist. And as a kid, you go to college, you leave home, but you take those teachings with you.
Yes.
And I never forgot about that. I always prayed before a game. I always asked God to cover me in that blood of His. And I talked to my mom. She always said a prayer over the phone. So I was covered. So I had no doubt. I never went into a game scared that I was going to get hurt. I never thought about that. No, I just played hard and said, listen, I'm covered. God's protecting over me. And for 8 years, I was protected in a violent league back then.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in the league now? I can play about 16, 20 years.
Oh, man. And you were scoring touchdowns, so people wanted to kill you because they knew that if you're running a route, they wanted to get you before you got hit. But, this led to, a career, but also led to your future. And the biggest thing that you have when it comes to your heart is always about high school kids and getting kids to go to college. And so tell me the name of your foundation again. Cares?
That's my passion, Butch Rolle Caring for Kids Foundation. We established that back in
2013. Yeah.
Yes, and from then it's been building every year, and I've been blessed to scholarships to come by and want to donate, be part of this, be part of our vision. And that's the thing. I know this year has been a little tough and a little challenging because of the situation we're in. But believe it or not, I do have a couple of sponsors that promise, that agreed to come through with something to help me still provide a couple of scholarships, whether they're smaller scholarships. Still, I'm able to provide a scholarship to a couple of my kids this year, and that's a blessing. I'm happy. When I found that out, that made my day. That brought so much joy because these kids are my passion, man. I want to see these kids flourish. I want to see them, succeed and accomplish their dreams.
Well, I told you I was going to get in my foundation, and I told you that for years. And then when my father passed away, my mother pushed me to finally do my nonprofit. And I tell you, man, it is not an easy job. But that one question that I had all day, because I was looking forward to interviewing you, was, which one feels better, man? To say, to a kid look at you and say, hey, you're Butch Rolle, man, you're this tight end, you're this, or the kid that gets a check from you and they get to go to college next year. What is?
Oh, listen, that by far overrules and outweigh the Butch Rolle tight end because that's the past. And I thank God for that opportunity to lay that foundation for me, to put that platform in place so I could be who I am now. But giving those kids those checks and watching the smile on their face, and then they're coming back, they're writing you, telling you how they appreciate it and thanking me, and I'm encouraging them throughout the semesters, telling them to keep working and just keep striving. That's by far the best reward.
Which one? I know you probably have like 20 or maybe even more kids that you were like, oh my God, this is one of the best moments of my life. Is there one that just like with me, when I go pray for kids and people that one kid just touches me, and just their smile, you can just feel their spirit, like they're just full of joy and they want to go fight to live, right? Is there like a story that a small one that you could tell me of one kid?
Honestly, no, because here's what I do. I approach every kid the same, and I'm so personable with the kids, and they all adapt to me pretty much the same. I have fun with them. I joke around with them. I don't just treat them like, I'm their friend. I talk to them. I come down to their level because I can understand what they're going through. So I don't want to show one kid more favoritism. So I pretty much have a passion for all of them. And when I give a scholarship to one, I feel the same way as I do if I'm giving one to 2 or 3 kids or 4 or 5. Like one year we did 23 scholarships.
Wow.
That year's unfortunate incident with Stoneman Douglas.
Oh, wow.
We gave 16 scholarships to them. I went over there, was part of that. I was able to get a hold of their guidance counselor, provided 16 scholarships, then came back and gave another 11 or 12 to my school. So that year we had a nice amount, and everyone was special. Even though the Stoneman Douglas kids had gone through such tragedy and such adversity, I still felt obligated. Still felt good that my kids were there and they were receiving, because these kids are not as fortunate.
Correct.
So anything that I can do to help them, trust me, it's a blessing to them, and it makes me know that I'm doing my job. So I'm building that legacy. So when it's time for God to say, "Hey, come on back home," I have a legacy.
Amen.
That's what it is.
And I've told you that. I told you about my nonprofit. The same way I feel is that this is going to be my legacy, and hopefully people get to know what I went through, even 30, 40 years from now.
Absolutely.
One thing I'm very proud of you, man, is you're getting your doctorate, and you're studying right now. And there was just an article published about you. And how does that make you feel that, because I tell you, man, I got 2 bachelors, I'm done. But you certainly went back and you wanted to, do this, and it's not easy for someone that's got their things going on, right? Because it's not like you have nothing to do. You're a teacher, you have your foundation full time, you're still doing your training, you're still, in shape, you're freaking in shape. You sing, you play the piano. You play the piano. I know, I've seen you play the piano. You play guitar too, right?
I have a few, like 4 different instruments I like to dabble with. But it's all part of my plan, and I have a bachelor, I have a master's, and I was actually going back to get another master's in educational leadership. And my enrollment counselor said, listen, why are you doing another master's? Why don't you do a doctorate? I'm like,
Correct.
really? I'm looking at it, I'm like, it might not be bad, but I know it's a lot involved. It's time consuming. It's time management. It's a lot of reading, a lot of posting, a lot of writing, because it's online and it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been able, listen, Dave, the last 2 years plus, I have been able to manage that. God's will, I got 13 months left.
Amen. You got this. I got no.
That's,
I have absolutely.
that's including a dissertation that has to be written, and that's what I'm working on. And I know I've come this far. Listen, my time management is going to be there. There's people there's people that support you. There's people that say they believe in, that say they're going to support you, but they really don't. But I'm fine with that because you're going to get all sorts of people coming. You know how that goes.
I tell you, well, listen. I've said this before in interviews when I went through cancer. The people that were supposed to be there were there, and that's the bottom line, because they got to witness God do a miracle in my life. The people that weren't there couldn't handle it. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with any of it. It's just really for their lives, because the people that saw me go through that stuff, and the people that are going to be there, they're going to be there to celebrate with you. They're going to be there to be witness something. And I'll tell you, from my mother, if you ever want to get a hold of her, you can. She's watching us probably on Facebook right now. I'll tell you, my mom has 2 doctorates, and I've had to hear my whole life about how difficult that was, and she was not going to give up. And she did it after giving birth to me and after being in the hospital for a year. So my mom is my hero, always been a hero of mine. And still to this day, man, she doesn't want to stop working. She wants to keep helping people as a psychologist. And so, Butch, the last thing before we run out of time here is, I ask all my guests to give me one word. I know faith is a big word, and we all share that word. But is there another word, or a word that gets you up in the morning when you were playing, or something else that you can elaborate on for a little bit about how that helped you get through tough times? Because there's a lot of people right now that are going through very, very tough times, and it's about their life. It's about their mental health and spiritual health. So is there one word you can give us today?
Dave, what word I love, man, I always use it and always have, is resilience.
Resilience.
That's the ability to just bounce back quickly from tough times, man. We are in tough times right now, and that's the goal, is for everybody to bounce back. That's the word I've always used, because not everything has been easy. People look at me and say, man, you have an easy life. I say, no.
I have no idea.
You have no idea, buddy. Trust me. The things I had to go through and the adversity I had to encounter, it's not easy. I've gone through something. I lost my mother. I lost my father. I lost plenty of loved ones. I had, injured. I had a quadricep tendon rupture that I came back within a year and was on stage competing in Dallas. Competing in Dallas. So that's an injury that takes at least 6 months to 8 months to heal. Some people take a whole year.
Yep.
I did it within, a year's time, less than a year's time. I was back on stage competing in Dallas at the Dallas Pro, and that was an accomplishment. Like I said, resilient, because I wasn't going to give up. I don't know what that means to stop. That's just how I'm built. And I push the people around me that want to be, and I try and push them to the same way. Some of them, they may get upset, but I tell them, listen, I am just doing exactly what I do to myself. And if you want to be part of my life and be around me, this is how it is. Because like we said earlier, everybody wants to say they want to be there, but at the end of the day, right now, I call my sector of this life, we're doing the doctora, the no fun zone. I can't go out. I can't do certain things. So those people that look for me and look for my time to go hang out and do whatever, I have to say no. I say I can't do it. I'll catch you at another time.
I know you've said no to me a couple times, so I get it.
Listen, it's all love, bro.
But just like me, I have 500 texts right now, and I probably can't get back to you because I'm doing this amazing interview today with Butch. And I would say this, man. I think one of the moments in my life that our relationship, our friendship, got closer was when your friend got diagnosed with cancer, and she had three kids.
Yeah, a good friend, a teacher friend of mine. I remember asking you to go to speak with us just to give her encouragement. She fought it.
She did.
Holistically, and she tried and did her thing, and unfortunately, that took over and get the best of her. But listen, you did something that really helped her out, and she was able to feel some kind of light and feel some kind of inspiration from that because you experienced it and you beat that 3 times, and that's an accomplishment. So
Well,
just
I remember talking to her. I remember sitting with her. She was down to nothing like I was, and um, and I really honestly pray because of her kids, and I know you're like almost a father figure to those kids, and so for me it was just, but to see you go through that, and that I think our relationship, our friendship got closer because, of course, I connected with you in a deeper way, and for me, because of that, I'm a phone call away with you always because
absolutely.
I got to see your heart and your spirit work in ways that I see how you treat those kids and everyone around you. So, Butch, I want to thank you for that. You
Hey,
know,
my pleasure. You're welcome.
and Butch Rolle is just one of many people out there that are not only living their best life, but they're sharing their life with others. And resilience was his word today, and it's gotten him through probably a lot more than we could share in just a segment of the show. It got him probably through a lot of his childhood, and like he said, losing his dad and mom. I lost my dad, and it hurt me so much that I really needed God to really re-strengthen me all over again. So I will tell you that I hope this interview brought some of you to start thinking about how is it that you can continue to be resilient even in a time like now, even in a time that you don't know how things are going to really look at in the future. We really can't foresee a future right now, can we? But I like the word resilience. I also heard his voice when he said faith. And when he said that, he said it with a big smile. And I could tell you that I can't do anything without faith or resilience. So again, I hope this interview had really touched you and really get to know Butch. All the information will be underneath this video, and you can get a hold of his foundation. You can get a hold of Butch if there's anything you guys ever feel that you need to share with him. But again, I always tell everyone to find hope, have faith, and live with purpose. And Butch is truly living a life with purpose. God bless you guys. And Butch, thank you again for joining me today in Life Changes for Life. And man, you are in my prayers always. And I hope and pray that
Likewise.
this is just a continuation, man. You got a long way to go, my friend.
Oh yes,
And I can't.
God's using me. God's always in my corner. So I've learned that as a child, and I've taken that and I've walked with it, and I lead by Him. He leads me, and I just go with what He wants me to do, regardless of what somebody else may think. I'm going to listen to Him and go with my heart, and that's how it's been. It's worked for me, and I'm going to continue to do it. So I tell everybody out there to do the same thing. Listen, we're at a tough time right now. Stay safe, be smart. Wear those masks when you go out, and make sure you're protecting yourself. And don't think that this virus can't catch up with you because we don't see it. It's there. You just have to
Amen.
be smart about it.
Amen. Well, again, I want to thank Butch, and I'll give you my message again. It's about I did not get the gift of singing, and if I did, I probably wouldn't be able to do what I do today. I'd probably be like Mark Anthony, traveling the world, singing in Spanish and English. But God had a different plan for me. So, but for Adriana, I told her after we went to dinner with a lot of friends of ours from the panel, we ended up having dinner, and she told me about her daughter and about her relationship with her daughter and how she's changing lives literally through her courses and through her seminars and conferences that she was planning. She is nonstop mommy, and she's nonstop entrepreneur, and she's nonstop life changer. Her name is Adriana Foster. Adriana Foster para los españoles. Anyway, Adriana, how are you? It's been such a long time. I mean, it feels like ages.
I know, especially now that we have like no contact with people.
We have no contact with people, but I would say that it was just interesting how we were talking about your singing, and I said, listen, pursue your singing. If you have a gift, use it. Somebody like me, I don't have that gift, but you have it. And long story short, all of a sudden, here you are on television, La Voz. I believe, I didn't even know there was a La Voz in Spanish, the voice, by the way. It's one of my favorite shows. Can I tell you how addicted I am to that show? I am literally addicted to that show.
It was awesome, to be honest with you. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited to be
I've been
here.
wanting to invite
I'm
you,
super
but you've been really busy.
admire you. I know it's been a crazy, crazy. It's been a crazy 2 years actually, but I super admire you for what you're doing. You are such an inspiration, and I thank you for following your calling and your passion and inspiring us all. And yeah, I mean, La Voz was such an amazing, beautiful experience. I mean, I've been a professional singer since the year 2000. I started singing professional since I was 13. You know, I've done tours in Latin America and Mexico. I sang with the biggest, greatest names in the industry. Actually, my songs are performed by a lot of contestants in The Voice in Mexico, in Colombia, in Chile, in Latin American Idol. So for me, experiencing being a contestant and going through that part, it was such a marvelous experience. It was like, honestly, it was like a reset. Like it reminded me my purpose. Why do I want to sing? Most of the contestants were kids, 18, 19, 20. I'm 33. I'm not that old. But it reminded me my purpose. Like it connected me to when I started this career. And I had a lot of fun. It was super fun. I can tell you that it was one of the best experiences of my life. I'm very, very grateful with all the production. And it was a great experience. So yeah, it happened.
All I have to say is that I was very happy to see her do what I believe that she's meant to do. Um,
Thank you.
you know, just like with me, when you talk about doing conferences and doing life coaching, but I always say the stage is where I belong. I feel like I'm at home,
Absolutely.
and for you, that's where I see. I see you at home on stage, and you literally lit up that stage. I mean, I just in the preview video that I did for your show for this segment, it was awesome to just watch you do your thing over and over, and you were very flawless. You got to the semifinals, which is not easy because remember you're asking people to vote for someone that they're getting to love, they're getting to fall in love with you little by little, right? So it's
Yes, yes.
so they got their favorites.
And you know, I think that then the most important part of this experience is to understand the process that goes within, right? The emotional process that you go through when you are in this type of competitions. You have to remember that this is a reality show, so you know everything is on board there. Your emotions, your mental state, and the production of Levels did an amazing, beautiful job in supporting us. But it was very interesting to me with all the personal development work that I do to watch that and to experience it again from like a beginner's perspective and really I've never been in those type of shows, so grabbing all of my experience and seeing how there were kids there that it was the first time ever singing on stage, and me with all the experience I had, I felt like I was dying. I can't even imagine how they were feeling. So honestly, it brought me a lot of inspiration to see how resilience and most important, you mentioned something, right? When you're meant to do something, I believe that a human being, when you connect with that passion, with that fire in your heart, with something that you're meant to do, you just light up in a different way. Your light inspires others, and you give permission to other people to do the same. That is the connection of the inspiration. So that's where I got to watch from a first front row. You know, at first we were 72 contestants. So I was looking at everybody, and every single person has a dream, has a plan, has a purpose, and they're there with, you know, they're practicing resilience, they're practicing trusting and believing in something, and that just filled me with so much energy and so much purpose. And that's, you know, you as a coach also, and all the people listening to us, you understand that when you find that purpose in life, life just changes. All the colors go brighter. You know, a man without purpose is not living. And also when you learn that you can serve through your purpose, it's
Correct.
exactly what you're saying, right? With that, when you're home and you can serve through your talent, and you can serve through your gifts, and you serve the world through them, and you give to the world, you know, the wonderful blessing of seeing you authentically loud. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it was such a great experience.
Well, and you were already doing, I mean, you were planning conferences, you were planning all this stuff when we talked. So you were living your purpose. You found it. You use music to heal more than just even coaching one on one, but she also uses her talent, her God given talent to heal other people and help them heal through what their experiences go through. And we talked extensively about that. But what I was trying to share with you is that you have this talent that it can be global, we talked about this at dinner. That's why it was so weird to see you on television, because we were just like, wait, we had this conversation just a year ago. Not even, it wasn't a year ago. I don't even know how long it was, and
It was like, yeah, it was like actually it was more
two
because
years.
I participated in Levels a year ago, so
Correct.
it was
So it was
like a
two
year and
years.
a half ago.
Correct. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. So we were like, I was just like, wow, we just had this conversation. I just told her that, and I don't know what it took for you to get there. I don't know the process. If you audition or they called you and said, listen, we would like you to be here. I know there's a lot of different ways to get to those shows because I have a lot of friends of mine that have been in The Voice and America's Got Talent and American Idol. And everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. Depends if you're a professional singer or if you're a rookie or you're just you're just getting to there, right? But at the end of the day, I thought about your daughter, and because we talked about your daughter when we were together, and I thought about your daughter. How amazing is this for this little young girl to watch her mom shine that way? Like, how many more opportunities in life will you, because you were a professional singer, but that was before. Then all of a sudden you go and now you're coaching and now you're helping people and now you're a full-time mom, and you are a full-time mom, I know you. And all of a sudden, here you go, here's a second chance at, and I wouldn't call it stardom, I call it at shining the light that God gave you to shine upon the world. And now you become global. Now you're at that moment where people are watching you, paying attention to you, and you have a story. You are a coach. You are someone that helps everyone around you, and now everyone gets to see you, but it's because of your gift that now people get to listen to you. See what is interesting? It's not your voice, but it's your gift.
No, I love how you put it. You are absolutely right. And you know what? I think that we as healers, as coaches, and as life changers, I love the term that you created.
You are.
Responsibility. Thank you. We have the responsibility to practice what we preach and to inspire others to also stand up in their greatness and open up a path of light, right? It's exactly what you're explaining. The example that you gave is beautiful. For me, I just see my daughter as an extension of me and as a little human being that she is going to grow up, God willing, to be this beautiful, wonderful, talented woman. And what I want her to see and what I want her to keep in her heart and what I want her to just, be her flag when she grows up is that, my mom never gave up. My mom always believed in her dreams, and she did whatever she needed to do to share those dreams and to serve through those dreams so she could inspire other people to do the same. So it becomes a chain reaction, and I think this is why it's such a blessing that we have the opportunity to do so, because you will never know. I mean, when you think about life changer, right? Just take a second and think about this. It sounds like a big term. Oh, I'm a life changer. But if you think about it, a life changer can be somebody in the street that just says hello with a beautiful smile and changes your whole day. It
Absolutely.
Can be somebody that opens up the door for you when you have the grocery bags. It could be somebody that gives back your purse. The other day I went to a store and I brought my purse and this person came back and it's like, hey, here's your wallet, you dropped it. And that's a life changer. I think that we all have the capacity to become life changers, and this is why you and I that have the opportunity to have this type of careers where we inspire others, where we set the example, we have that responsibility, to follow our passion, to follow our dreams, and to practice it. Because we don't do anything having a gift and just keeping it for ourselves.
Well,
the gifts are meant to be shared.
I said that to you. I said the reason I'm alive is to share my story, and I like how you put that as well, because I always say being a life changer is just being not putting yourself first, just doing something for someone else. And we don't know how we're going to change people's lives. We just hope that our gifts and our talents and what we share with others impact their life in some way, that they become life changers. But a life changer could be anything. Here's the thing that I thought about through when you were competing, because there was a couple of times that I even texted you. I said, I'm voting for you. And I'm like, I don't even know if you're getting it. But I was doing that because I kept thinking of your story, and I kept thinking of your daughter, again, when you speak to your daughter now about following her dreams, do you think she's going to listen? Because I have a mother that literally I listened to her journey after giving birth to me, almost dying, giving birth to me, coming out of it, going to get her two doctorates, by the way, not one, and then going back to Puerto Rico, becoming this amazing person. She was already a captain in the Army before she gave birth to me. So my mom is my hero. My dad is my hero. My dad's in heaven right now watching us. But my mom, watching her treat the others And watching her travel the world and watching her work and sacrifice and say, I want it because I want this for my child, I want this for my husband, I want this for us, moving us to a better place so we have a better, better life. From Puerto Rico, we moved to the States because of the crime rate, things like that. To watch her, I always keep telling her, she doesn't get it, but I always keep telling her, I am a reflection of you. So you might not believe in what I'm doing sometimes, but you have to understand that I watch you do so many crazy things, and I know, and this is something we talk about. You use that word crazy in your seminars, and I love it. You have to live your crazy. I've always, people say I'm crazy because I thought I was going to live through cancer. And guess what? If I'm crazy, I'm still here.
But it is true. This is something that I say all the time in my seminars and my talks. I talk about what is your crazy.
Come on, live it.
A lot of the times, going back to the passion and to your dreams, you have this dream, this passion, this gift, this talent, this vision, like your mom, like all the people that have followed it, and sometimes following those dreams takes something crazy, like going and auditioning for La Voz and making a 5-hour line in order to get one audition and stay there for 12 hours. For me to record La Voz, I had to be in seclusion in a hotel for more than 4 months, and I didn't see my daughter at that time. For a lot of people, that would be crazy. But what happens is that when you believe in your crazy and when you truly have the capacity to embody that crazy in a sense of, I truly believe in what I'm doing and I have a purpose and I see it, that crazy becomes something, and that something inspires others and gives permission to others to also follow their crazy, right? So again, it's I think inspiration is a chain reaction.
Absolutely.
And something that you were saying about the life changers that comes with the inspiration chain that I'm talking about. A lot of people struggle to inspire. A lot of people try too hard or strategize or invest a crazy amount of money in coaches and programs to find the right product or the right modality to inspire. And what I tell my clients all the time, even though those tools might support you, I always encourage people to find what is your unique message.
Correct.
Who is it that you are? Don't try to model other people's messages. Don't try to become other people. Don't try to follow other people's path. Each of us have a unique message, a unique light that we are supposed to share. And when we share it from a place of flow and no attachment and no expectations, that is when true inspiration comes in. And yes, then you can spend all the money and all the coaches and all the tools and perfectioning it and bringing it to life. But before you do that, you first get to have this trip within yourself so you can discover your true essence, because your true essence is needed. Your true essence is absolutely needed in your life in order for you to thrive. So when it comes to being a life changer, being a life changer happens organically.
Correct.
Being an inspiration happens organically. When you're being true to yourself, when you're being true to your light, then you inspire others and you can change people's lives.
Amen. And think about this. I always talk about defining you and those around you. That's how I start every coaching session. It's always about, we're going to define you and everyone around you to find out your true self. And it goes usually through pain. It goes something through life and choices that they made and things like that. In order to find your purpose, you've got to go through all that. That's your uniqueness, like she's saying today. And the other thing is, think about this. You were talking to a professional singer today. Think about a song, right? And then you see someone sing it on The Voice, and it's someone else's song. It's like watching someone sing a Whitney Houston song, or watching someone sing a Michael Jackson song, or someone sing someone else, right? And we immediately say, oh, I love this song. But yet we think of the artist.
Yeah.
We don't think of the person. I was listening to a rock star. He's not on The Voice anymore. He got booted out. But he sang, I believe it was a Journey song that I loved for many years ago. And all of a sudden, I started thinking of the band, and I started thinking of me being in high school with a Walkman. I'm talking my age now. With a Walkman, listening to that tape. Not a CD, not an iTunes download, but a tape.
You are telling people how old you
It's okay. I'm blessed. Listen, I'm living a bonus life. You already know that. So I'm in my third life. But the interesting part is I'm not even watching that person anymore because that's a copy. I am now watching back to my memory of what that song meant to me back in the day when that person sang it, the original singer. So I'm listening to you talk about that is don't be a copy of someone. Now there's a difference. You're singing a song so people can relate to you and relate to that and see your talent. That's something different, but I'm talking about life like Adriana was talking about. She was talking about being yourself, your true self. Don't be a copy of anybody else. In other words, if you're going to take those courses and invest in yourself and hire coaches, make sure that you hire at least one coach that tells you how to find out about yourself first.
Find out who you are.
First.
Absolutely. And that journey, I think it has a lot to do also with the beliefs that have been programmed within us of who we are supposed to be.
Right.
You know, especially the first 7 years of our lives, we live in a whole matrix that they start programming us and they tell us, oh, you need to fit in this box, you need to be this person. Success means this. You know, if you don't do this, I'm going to feel disappointed. And, you know, our parents do the best they can with what they have, and we're doing the best we can with what we have as parents also. But, you know, we get this programming from a societal point, from a global point, from a familiar point, and also from agreements that we create with ourselves that we define. We start creating labels.
Yeah.
In order for us to remember who we are and to get to the point, to reach the point of authentic self-expression, which is what I do. I coach people to get to that authentic self-expression. You need to let go of all these labels. You need to grieve the disappointment of letting go of all these labels. And most important, you get to reprogram those beliefs, because sometimes you live your life trying to build and protect a belief that's not even what you want.
It's not yours.
And then next thing you know, you are 30, 40, 50-year-old and you're like, well, why am I even trying to do this? I don't want to do this. This is not who I am. Oh, but if I don't do this, I'm going to disappoint my mom, my dad, my society, my people, right? So it's so important that the journey of getting to a self-discovery of your authentic self, of who you are, and being able to express it, comes with pain, comes with grief, comes with discoveries, comes with a lot of disappointment, a lot of sadness, but it also comes with a lot of freedom, liberation. So I think that that's very, very important. And again, you know, once you reach that point, you can become a life changer, whether you do it organically in your family with the people that you come in contact with, or you decide to make a career out of this and share your story in stages, with podcasts, with books, whatever you feel like. But I feel like being a life changer equals that you have come to the position that you remember who you are and you share it with the world.
Well, and here's the thing: we're not expecting all of you to do what we do. I think that's why there's people that like fishing, right? And people that like football. There's all kinds of unique people out there that do different things. So we chose to do this. Well, it was kind of it was kind of meshed into our purpose. So that's a different story. But you got to remember that learning about yourself, sometimes like you were talking about, it's a product of your environment. So whatever environment you're raised in, that's all you know. And then I always talk about what I said, defining the people around you, is because a lot of people will try to tell you what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. And then you find out, wait, why am I not happy? Because you're doing what someone else expects. You're not doing what you're expected to. But to find out, go ahead. No.
No, what I always tell people is it's never too late.
Never.
Never too late. Like whether you're 60, 70, 80 years old or you're 20, you can always stop, go back, and really reclaim your true self so you can start living in that authentic life and you can start expressing yourself in a way that you become a life changer. And again, just like you said, you can be a fisherman, you can be a stay-at-home mom, you can be a CEO of a company, you can be a barista, whatever you decide to be, you can be a life changer.
Yep.
Only if you live authentically and you share yourself with the world with that authenticity. That is a gift.
See, I'm not the only crazy one here. We have two crazies going at it right now. So, two crazies. So let's talk about this crazy time that we're living in right now. Because you, like me, we plan events all year long. I had women's conference. You had your, was it called the Passion Conference?
No, I had my
Foster.
Women program. Yeah, well, the Live Women program
The Foster Night.
The Foster Nights is a motivational concert where I mix a specific topic with music and I create a soundtrack. And yeah, but it's all event based with people.
Yes, with people. And now we don't know when people are going to return to events. That's the thing. That's what we're talking about. So how has this changed? I mean, for me, I build a studio in my own house, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing coaching through, all these softwares and all these great things. What is it now for you? Because now you're home and mommy mode was 24/7. Now you're mommy mode 24/7 on 24/7 because you become a teacher now. You become all these other great things. So
I'm graduating from second grade.
you're graduating from second grade. Well, here's the thing. Now you can be smarter than a 5-year-old. You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm relearning my additions, my subtractions, and multiplying. No, for sure. Look, I think that for me, there's a lot of pressure on what this quarantine is about. I see in social media people posting all types of stuff, and one post brought my attention that said, if you don't come out of this quarantine knowing a new skill or with a new venture or with a new business, then you wasted your time. I don't agree with that. I actually believe that this quarantine is meant to be in our lives so we can take a pause and we can reflect on what is it that our life looks like, and is this really what I want? Is this really what I want to do? Is this really the path that I want to continue? Or what shifts can I create in my life? So that's what I've done. I've paused, and I've been, of course, I keep seeing my clients. I'm doing all telehealth, and it's amazing. I'm loving it. I think I'm going to stay that way. Because it just gets so much more personal when people are in a space where they dominate and they're alone, and the office part of it. Some people like the connection, but I love telehealth, and I think that I paused and I'm in super duper creative mode. I developed my first online course, which is my 6 years of experience with transformation. I brought it up all together, and I partner up with a functional nutritionist, and we did this whole rebirth. Claim back your ownership of your life course. It's called Alchemy. I'm very proud of it. So, I came into super creative mode. I'm writing songs like crazy. I'm, in the middle of writing a book also. So, I think that for me, quarantine has been very nurturing in the sense of motherhood. I'm mothering my daughter. I'm mothering my projects. I'm mothering myself. There's going to be a lot of self-care. And my clients also. And yeah, I'm really looking forward. I did a Foster Nights online. It was a complete success. I had over 1,000 people joining. It was great. So I'm looking forward to do another one and, see how we can create this. But I miss people.
I do
miss
too.
connection.
I do too. No, 100% I miss it. And it's something that, people say that, oh, we're going to have a new normal, or people are not going to touch each other or hug each other. And I'm actually not believing in that. I believe that after all this is done, whenever this is done, we're going to want to go to a movie theater again. We're going to want to do the things.
I wholeheartedly believe that. I actually believe the opposite. I think that this quarantine is being a huge wake-up call of how much we're lacking empathy and connection in our society. And how much we get to go back to basics and truly connect with other human beings. I think that this quarantine has showed us that we need each other to survive, that we can't survive as a one, as a unit. Okay. That the change and the transformation comes in bulk, comes in society. Yeah. And if we don't help each other, we don't give each other the hand, then we will automatically destroy ourselves. So I really believe that this quarantine is bringing us closer. I think that a lot of people are really having these wake-up calls and transforming their lives radically. Like, I became super busy. I was busy already booked. Right now I'm crazy booked because a lot of people started reaching out. A lot of people are open. This is bringing a lot of transformation and awakening. And this is what I tell my clients all the time. We are experiencing a transformation and awakening. And awakening has 3 steps for me. Awakening is wisdom, transformation, and integration. Okay. Right now we are in the wisdom part of it. A lot of people are realizing things that we didn't know because all the distractions went away, and now you get to be with your life the way it is. And if you don't like it, you get to make a choice, right? And that is where the transformation comes in. And ultimately, the integration part will come. So I believe that we will go back to basics, and connection and empathy is something super needed.
Well, and on top of that, it's funny because there's people that weren't happy before this. And so and they're wanting to go back to their own happiness. And I'm like, why don't you find out what you make you happy? So
And
it's
not everybody's ready for the awakening.
yeah,
That's another point, and it's okay. You
yeah,
know, it's totally okay that everybody's timing is different, and the people that we are going with the transformation, we also get to practice compassion and empathy and
amen,
understanding and acceptance to all of those that are not, and it's okay. You know, I think that our human race, I believe that, and this is what I've been doing Facebook lives about this. I believe that this is a time of opportunity. I don't
yes,
believe this is a time of chaos. This is a time of opportunity. And if we all take responsibility and practice, being with ourselves and being humble and understanding what is it that this trying to show me, we can truly grow and go to the next level.
amen. Well, listen, to conclude this interview, what is one word, Adriana, that you love, that it just gets you up, gives you hope, gives you faith, gives you strength? What is one word that you can give right now to get, and then, and elaborate just a little bit about it, how that word helps you, because it can help somebody today that's listening to us.
I would say, honestly, I would say trust.
Trust.
The word for me this year has been trust. I think that when we tap into trust, we start understanding what true power is. We start understanding that power doesn't come from ego. Power comes from a certainty of who we are. When we trust, we forget about what we're supposed to be. We forget about our shoulds. We forget about what things are supposed to look like, and we detach, and we truly allow for God, the universe, the feminine, the goddess, whatever you want to call it, to bring truth to our lives. And when we trust, we are stepping into our greatness and allowing other people also to do the same. So for me, trust is one of the big ones. It's not faith, it's trust.
Okay.
Because trust comes from an internal certainty of who I am that is also received and reflected on you and everybody else.
Amen.
So yeah, that would be my word.
So, Adriana Foster, professional singer, amazing mom, entrepreneur, healer, speaker. I mean, there's nothing that this woman hasn't done. And she probably is just starting. Like she said, she's in her 30s. She's got a long way to go. I will say that her word trust means a little bit more to me than I thought. Because I've always said, well, one of our superpowers is to be vulnerable. To be a man, to cry on stage like I do sometimes. I get emotional and I let my vulnerability come out. It's been my biggest strength, because people get to really feel what's inside of me. In order to do that, you have to trust. You have to trust that you are going to be vulnerable and allow yourself to be vulnerable. So I am very happy that Adriana made time for us today and shared some amazing, amazing words of wisdom with us. But her word was trust. And I leave you with that trust, that this process, trust it, but also make the best of it. Get to learn who you are. Put a pause in it, like she said, and walk forward knowing that there is a blessing somewhere coming very soon. But don't miss it. Trust the process and trust yourself and move forward. Well, I hope this message gave you some hope today to keep going and trusting and learning about yourself, as we all are during this process. And I will never leave you without my phrase: find hope, have faith, and live every day with purpose. I want to thank Adriana Foster for being my guest today in Life Changers for Life. And again, have a blessed day, and God bless. Take care.